Never come to the Nazi states Sweden. Here in this country, you are not worth trash to the people. Swedish people are so selfish that they see you when they need you. In this country, you are isolated among your own people and other foreigners. In Sweden, you can't get a job if you don't screw up, for the Swedish people are connected to their system, which works like a mafia. Here in Sweden, you don't get a job because the system wants to treat you like a dog, insult you because you have to beg for your living and money. Here in Sweden, your child learns to hate Jewish people, hate gypsies, and hate Muslims. Learn to tell racist jokes about other people and ethnic groups. Hate Russians and see people other than Swedish as criminals. Here in this country, you learn to hate other people, religion, cultures, and even your own people and yourself. Here in Nazi country Sweden, your child is taught to bow like slaves before Swedish, but to hate other people. This is called respect in Swedish culture. Here in Nazi Sweden, the state makes a deal with your child and sell them. First, your child is kidnapped by the Swedish state. The policeman attacked your house and beat your wife. Then the state labels you a criminal parent to cover up their crime and declare that they are protecting children. Just like during Hitler's Nazi Germany, your child or children are kidnapped, handed over to Swedish families who are disabled, infertile, and unable to have children. And then your child is placed to learn Swedish culture and forget your culture, you, his family, and his language. In this way, the Swedish carry out a great racial cleaning and incitement against ethnic groups. Swedish raises foreigner children with hatred and mental problems, among other things, against the Jewish people in order or later be able to send them to terrorist networks such as ISIS, or use them in youth criminal gangs so that these children will be murdered. You can develop yourself if you are to have a connection with the Swedish mafia parties or Iranian regime or some terrorist groups, or you will be violated and your right trampled. You may think I'm joking or exaggerating something that doesn't exist. Many of supporters of Iran occupation regime have been given high top positions in Sweden, or Swedish universities can arrange fake degrees for them. Here in Sweden, your life will be burned away and you will become obsolete for problems that the authorities and system create for you and your family. If Israel or Mr. President Trump want to fight terrorism, apart from the occupation regime in Iran, then Sweden is one of those countries. Then you have to deal with Sweden because Swedish leaders protect terrorists or support them or has contact with regimes like the occupation regime in Iran. Until Sweden is not deal with other terrorist group will appear all the time under other names. Sweden, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Norway are like a factory that produces the best for its own people and releases the crap to the Middle East and other countries like USA or Russia. Sweden was the biggest reason for the extension of the war between Ukraine and Russia. When the Nazi states, Sweden sent lots of soldiers and also their factory, Svenska Kulagerfabriken SKF, which would make ball bearings, has made military equipment to kill innocent Russian civilians. The most Nazi people on earth who are considered as Dajjal or Daggal or Antichrist are Swedish people. Most of the Nazis who collaborated with Hitler to exterminate the Jewish people were from Sweden. Swedish people are the world's first and greatest anti-Semitism who hate not only the system but the people and want to exterminate the Jewish people. Most of the largest demonstrations against Israel are organized in Sweden. Arab terrorists have greater freedom for economic and other activities and money laundering. While the Sweden cry for Palestinian children, they are happy about the 7th of October 2023, where many women raped, many children were murdered, and many families lost their members. The Swedish people will produce or help terrorists just when many young people join ISIS. But if you come as an immigrant, tourist, or asylum seekers and live here for a while, then you will be forced to go through these events. Look closely at what happened to Syria families who came to Sweden as immigrants from the other country who came before them and see what happened to their fate. In Sweden, it is Heidegger's that applies. You only heard that others are lying, everything is nonsense, and it's only the Swedish state and Swedish people who tell the truth, and you only hear voices praising Sweden, just like the occupied regime in Iran. Overall, the only difference between Swedish and the occupied regime in Iran are two factors. That the Iranian people do not have the same voice and don't so like the regime. That the occupied regime in Iran have beard and turbans and are sharp in their words, while the Swedes are part of a tie and try to keep the democratic masks. Thank you.